Imagine walking through the cobblestone streets of Paris in the year 1920. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. The city is dead silent, but inside a small neighborhood bakery, there is absolute chaos. For centuries, French bakers worked through the grueling, dark hours of the night to mix, knead, and bake massive, round loaves of sourdough called boulet. These heavy loaves took hours to rise and hours to bake. If the neighborhood wanted fresh bread by breakfast, the baker had to sacrifice his sleep. But on this particular night, everything changed. The French government had just passed a revolutionary labor law. Bakers were legally banned from working between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. The bakers were trapped in a mathematical impossibility. If they couldn't start working until 4 a.m., and a traditional loaf took 4 to 5 hours to make, they would have absolutely nothing to sell to the hungry workers rushing to their morning shifts. They needed a miracle. They needed a bread that could defy time. To solve this 1920 crisis, French bakers had to look backward, specifically, 80 years into the past, to an Austrian military officer turned entrepreneur named Auguste Zang. In 1839, Zang moved from Vienna to Paris and opened a bakery. He brought with him a secret weapon, the Viennese steam oven. Before this, bread was baked in dry, ash-filled ovens. Zang's oven injected high-pressure steam into the baking chamber during the first few minutes of cooking. This steam did something magical to the starch on the outside of the dough. It melted the sugars, creating a glossy, paper-thin, intensely crispy crust. Underneath that crust, the steam allowed the dough to expand rapidly, trapping massive pockets of air. The result was a crumb so light and fluffy it felt like eating a cloud. At the same time, Hungarian mills began producing highly refined, silk-separated white flour. This wasn't the dense, whole-grain flour of the peasants. It was pure, bright, and luxury-grade. The 1920s Parisian bakers took Auguste Zang's steam technology, took the new white flour, and realized something brilliant. If they abandoned the round boule shape and rolled the dough into a long, thin cylinder, increasing the surface area, the heat of the steam oven could penetrate the core instantly. Instead of hours, this new, elongated bread could be mixed, shaped, proofed, and baked in under 90 minutes. By 5:30 a.m., the first batch was piping hot. They called it the baguette, literally translating to the wand, or the baton. The crisis was averted. Now, if you ask a Parisian tour guide where the baguette came from, they might tell you a different, far more dramatic story. The most famous legend traces back to Napoleon Bonaparte. The story goes that Napoleon's soldiers complained bitterly about carrying round loaves of bread in their backpacks, which crumbled, got wet, and took up too much space. Napoleon supposedly ordered his imperial bakers to create a long, thin stick of bread that soldiers could slide straight down the legs of their uniform trousers. It's a hilarious mental image, but historians smile and shake their heads. Bread in a wool trouser leg during a march would turn into a sweaty, inedible mush within a mile. Another gritty legend takes us deep underground into the dark tunnels of the Paris metro construction in the late 1890s. The workforce was recruited from different regions of France, and regional rivalries ran hot. Fights broke out constantly in the dark, cramped tunnels. Because the traditional round bread required a knife to slice, every single worker carried a massive, sharp blade to lunch. Fearing a bloodbath, the chief engineer, Fulgence Bienvenu, allegedly begged a local baker to invent a bread that didn't require a knife. A bread that could be easily torn apart with bare hands. The baker delivered the baguette, the knives were confiscated, and the metro was built in peace. Again, it is a brilliant story, but entirely a myth. The truth is much simpler. The baguette was born from science, technology, and a desire for sleep. By the mid-20th century, the baguette wasn't just a convenient breakfast, it became the ultimate symbol of French identity. A Frenchman walking home with a beret on his head and a baguette tucked under his arm became a global icon. But with global fame came cheap imitations. By the 1980s, industrial factories began pumping out mass-produced, chemically preserved, lifeless sticks of white bread. The authentic French baguette was dying. The country revolted. In 1993, the government stepped in again with the Décret Pain, the bread decree. This law stated that a true, traditional baguette, the baguette.The tradition française, could only contain 4 ingredients: wheat flour, water, salt, and yeast. No preservatives, no freezing. It must be made from scratch, on the premises where it is sold. This law saved the artisan baker. It turned bread making back into a high-stakes sport. Today, every year in Paris, bakers compete in the Grand Prix de la Baguette. The winner receives a cash prize and the ultimate honor, supplying the French president at the Élysée Palace with fresh bread every morning for a year. And finally, in 2022, the world gave the baguette its ultimate crown. UNESCO officially added the artisanal know-how the baguette to its intangible cultural heritage list, cementing it not just as food, but as a monument of human culture. Today, if you visit a true French boulangerie, look for 3 things. First, look for the color. It shouldn't be pale yellow, but a deep, golden chestnut color that the French call bien cuit, well cooked. Second, listen closely. When a fresh baguette is pulled from the oven, the cooling crust actually crackles and pops. Bakers call this the song of the bread. And third, do what every true Parisian does. The moment you step out of the bakery doors, tear off the warm, crunchy tip of the bread, the quignon, and eat it right there on the street. It is a 100-year-old ritual, born out of a midnight labor law, fueled by steam, and perfected by tradition. As the sun sets over the cobblestone streets, the last crust is broken and shared. That distinct, musical crunch echoes across generations, a timeless symbol of resilience, simplicity, and the enduring romance of daily life. Thank you for traveling through time with us today.